We sing the tale of Maralone, yo-ho, me lads, set sail to brave the curses sevenfold beyond the misty veil. Yo-ho-ho, beware what lurks below. Yo-ho-ho, below the shore we go. A mark of black upon our hands. Yo-ho, me lads, take heed. We're bound together, salt to sand. With every drop we bleed. Yo-ho-ho, we'll find what lurks below. Singing yo-ho-ho, below the shore we go.
Hello and welcome back to Below the Shoreline, episode 5, a Chance Encounters D&D mini campaign. I am your DM. My name is Eric Munro Schwan, joined by my lovely cast. We've got Asteria.
Hello.
Ian Frost. Sam Rutledge. John Webb. I'm mesmerized by Sam. Welcome back. For us, it's a real welcome back because it's been about 3 months since we recorded because life gets in the way. So that's all to say. Just if we drop things or if there's little plot holes here and there, just put it in the comments and I will, when I see them, go ahead and kick my own ass. So don't worry, it's all covered. But without further ado, we can just hop back into the story itself.
Oh boy.
Let me just set my Qell jaw.
Last time, gang, y'all were pretty chuffed because you were coming out on top of a fight with the Shadow of the Sea Sun, aka Oceanus. Bene took a look at this mysterious message in a bottle he found, finding a message in primordial, written on paper-like material created on this island long ago. Calanthe translated the primordial text to reveal the existence of an ancient civilization that lived on this island long ago that worshipped Oceanus, but the message abruptly cut off. Discussing the implications of this while heading back into town, the party ran into a visiting Leonin preacher named Derringer Fellis, who was just finishing up a service at the Chapel of the Mother's Arms, and he offered his support to the group and said he would look through Preacher Bluebond's library to see if there was any information he could offer the group on ancient religions in the region. The group broke up and went about their various pursuits, Calanthe taking a respite and receiving a magical eye patch from Kyleson, Bene catching up with the crew of the Golden Hour, and Marius visiting with imprisoned bard Sammy Scene-wise. Qell worked with Bardios to try to scry on Mayor Desmond and saw the briefest flash of a scene in another dimension. And this is going to be the first time that I have to overtly retcon something to camera. Within that scene initially, there were indeed 7 stone beds arranged around a person in the middle who was meditating. However, only 6 of those 7 beds was filled. There was 1 empty. Oh. Each of these beds had a little stone basin attached to it, which it looked like life force or life energy was being drained into. And even though one of the beds is empty, that basin is half full.
So we assume I told everyone that.
Yes,
so we all have that.
So that's broadly known knowledge. Both Marius and Bene were advised that it would be a good idea to check into the lighthouse and see if its keeper is all good. Upon arriving, the group did find that the lighthouse had been affected by the island's curse, and fighting their way through a monster house quickly being flooded, they were able to restore the light to the lighthouse and avenge the death of the unfortunate lighthouse keeper of Scuttle. Moving through the house, they saw a sequence of 3 paintings, Oceanus with the group praising him, Oceanus with the same group now facing the camera or the exterior of the painting, and Oceanus alone in a field of water. Marius, finding the second of 3 chests associated with a mysterious keyring he found, located the remainder of the message in a bottle. As the group exited, a little worse for wear, they read about how the previous inhabitants of the island had met those from the outside world and had become more curious about what lay beyond their shoreline. All discussions of the fact that Oceanus may have murdered his following rather than let them leave him fell silent, though, as the group registered a sight off in the distance. From the encroaching wall of fog surrounding the island, a Kraken's tentacle was beginning to break through. And that is right where we're going to pick up. So, hopping into it, I do need everyone to make either a nature or perception check. These are for different pieces of information.
Okay.
Oh boy. Okay.
13.
Good thing I have advantage on those.
What is that for, Ian?
Perception.
Well, okay, perception, got it.
Dirty 20 for perception.
30, 20, okay, got
I
it.
got
What?
for some reason I rolled advantage on roll 20 and I
Uh.
got a nat 1 twice.
Oh my god, no.
Wow.
I hope that's not
So-
foreshadowing.
Marius is just traumatized.
Yeah, he had a
Every
rough
which
time
way.
last fight.
I think that's fair. I also think that I'm just getting my bad rolls out now.
Yes,
Mhm.
hard agree. Benny, what about you?
I got 17.
Oh, was that nature or perception?
Perception.
Okay, awesome. Well, you and Qell are immediately clocking that Kraken. Wait, Calanthe, what did you get?
Dirty 20.
Oh, yeah, then all three of you clock the Kraken, and then your eyes kind of shift down towards the side of the hill that you're on, and you see a little ways down all of your friends Helen go, the dwarf tour guide, just kind of laxing out with binoculars looking out at the Kraken. And they're just in their normal cargo shorts, cargo vest with a little floral shirt on. And they've got flowers entwined into their beard. Did anyone roll nature?
Oh.
I can, but I'm
Yeah.
Can
I'll
I
have
roll
the
for
two.
nature as well?
Sure, yeah, why not? I wanted each of you to
So-
roll from one of the two, but well, let's just go for it.
Dirty 20.
Oh.
Dirty
You wanna know-
20.
I refuse to allow myself to roll after rolling 2 nat 1s.
No, do it. Do it. You
Nah.
deserve it.
No, I don't. That's the thing. Is that I actually do not.
Okay. You'll save it for later. Calanthe, what about you?
No.
No? Okay,
Mm-mm.
Benny. Oh, Benny, you see Helen go and you're like, there's the homie. They're just right over there. But then you, I think Benny's kind of like pacing, maybe kind of like rubbing his hand through his hair, thinking about everything that's happened over the past few days. You walk a little bit behind the lighthouse to where you can see the back beach below you.
Mhm.
And you see that there's an impression of the door in the sand next to where the door is, as if it had been opened. And there's
Oh.
also feet leading away to the left side of the island towards the marsh and the tide pools.
I get everyone's attention and I'm like, y'all, look at that door. Like, someone left.
Before that happens, when Benny walks away,
Mhm.
like Calanthe was gonna grab was gonna grab Benny's arm, honestly, but because he left, I think Calanthe grabs grabs Qell's forearm
Uh-huh.
and is looking at the Kraken like, is that what I think that is?
Before I let Qell respond to this,
Yes.
I need to know 2 things.
Yeah.
The first thing is, does it look like it's like about to break through any second, or is
No.
it just in the process?
It's in the process. In
Okay.
fact, as Helen goes sees you guys and is like, yo, hey, wow, you guys look fucked up. Ooh, I do not envy whatever just happened in there.
Well, my
Um,
second question is, how
mhm.
close to the coast are we? How close to the actual coastline are we?
You are directly above it because you're at the lighthouse, but the fog is still encroaching. The fog is getting very, very close to the beach.
Am I 120 feet from it?
Yes, you are. I wish I could gauge in my mind how large of a space 120 feet is. I'm gonna say yes. You're near the. You're just looking for the coastline, like the water, right?
Yeah, just to the water.
Oh yeah. You're close enough to that.
Okay. I might not even need 120 feet, honestly, because
Mhm.
when Calanthe grabs him, he looked like he was already starting to. So his eyes are locked on the thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
he was starting to like zombie walk toward it, like slowly.
Oh, wow.
And his swords are sort of out at his sides, almost dragging on the ground, but not. And they're like gushing water, like trailing behind him. And as he's going, as soon as your hand hits him, it's almost like, I know you're trying to like grip, but it almost registers like an impact in a way because he just crashes to his knees.
Whoa.
Looking at it.
Oh my god. Okay, not prepared for this. Holy shit.
His jaw is like set at this moment, and he's just looking at it.
Helen goes, well, buddy, you good? I know it's scary. They hold up a sending stone, and they're like, I'm up here, just kind of keeping in touch with Mayor Captain Newsoo, I guess, and letting her know the progress as this thing kind of makes its way through. If I were to guesstimate with my best instincts, I would say we've got about 12 hours until that thing fully breaches. Everyone's meeting in the tourism district, and there's a lot of preparations going on to keep people and things safe. So I think if you guys could head down there, that may be where you're needed the most.
When Qell crashes to his knees, like my reaction in real life is pretty much Calanthe's reaction. Like she's visually like obviously shitting herself, but like she wasn't expecting like this happening, so the arm moves instinctually from the forearm like round to his between his shoulder blades as she gets down next to him, and in her mind she thinks she can see how fucked up he is right now. So she's like, oh god, maybe he's just like in pain or whatever, and so she's gonna pump a 3rd level cure wounds into him.
He's repeating something under his breath, and I think you probably wouldn't hear it until you got closer to him what he's actually saying.
Okay. So that is it plus my wisdom mod? Spellcasting ability modifier, so yes, so 14 plus 4. So that's 20 points.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I rolled kind of good.
All right. I'm at 44.
And I don't think she says anything just yet. I think she's just has her hand flat on the back of his back of his back, but that's right over where his little strappies cross, because she's waiting to see if he's got a bolt or not and ready to grab.
He doesn't seem well. I guess that's a fair assessment. He is like tensed up, like he might, but as soon as you do that, something lets go a little bit, and you do hear as you get closer what he's actually saying, and he's saying, I'm not enough. I'm not. But it goes from this dejected, sort of lifeless sound. As you do that, it becomes resolved, almost like a realization. And then he stands up and he looks at it, and then he looks back at you. Say, we are not enough for this, but we can be. And he looks toward, I'm imagining, you said we were up above the coastline, right? He's looking at like kind of where it peaks out, like looking over it. And he looks back at Calanthe, and like with this sort of pleading, determined look in his eyes, he hover hands over your heart, but doesn't actually touch it. And he'll say, I need you to trust me now.
Yes, of course. But we need to regroup, see what Bene is looking at, and then we need to assess what needs to be done, in what order.
I will return to you in a moment. He's definitely going to say just one more time, like, trust me. I do not do this alone. And he turns and he books it toward that overlook.
Mm-hmm.
And he swan dives off of it. Straight down. And as he's diving down toward the water, he like twirls his swords backwards, like he's just torpedoing toward the water, and then he'll misty step himself when he's within range and just standing like in the water.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
So he's standing, letting the water just sort of flow at his feet. He's like standing just ankle deep in it.
Can Bene do a perception check to see this? Just because Bene is not near them.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. That's over 20.
Yeah.
So like Bene's just like looking, like, whoa, that door appeared. Like, that's crazy. And then just like kind of looks over and just sees Qell just like book it off the mountain. And Bene's just like, no, you have so much to live for. What are you doing?
Do a flip.
Not like this.
He's gonna be doing something down there where he is, but Eric, judgment call if you want to resolve what they're doing first. But what he's gonna do is probably gonna take like a couple minutes.
Gotcha. I mean, you can. How about we resolve what they're doing now, and we'll just say that's happening in the time that you are doing this spell, I imagine, and then you can fill us in.
Because he'll rejoin them as soon as he's done.
Perfect. He just has to climb back up the mountain. That's all he has to do.
Really, if it's 120 feet, no.
That's fair. But so how are you guys doing? Marius, how are you reacting to all of this?
Marius is kind of just paralyzed in kind of mortal terror. He's heard a lot of stories about Kraken-esque creatures throughout the high seas, and he didn't like any of them.
No, and you definitely heard about, like, Shoebuckle's boat was the one that this Kraken in particular took the fuck out. So you've definitely heard about this particular Kraken.
Right. Yeah. So I kind of just silent terror. He kind of whelped as Qell just like leapt over the cliff. It's like this guy is like our only hope, right? Like, and then boom. So probably Marius like ran over to the cliffside really quick and looked over. Okay. Good to see that you're safe. Okay. What do we do?
Calanthe will just come walk up, white knuckling one of her cutlasses, and grab Marius's hand, squeeze it, and then we both walk over to Bene, just squeezing each other's hands.
Yeah. Like, did y'all see that? He jumped off the mountain. Like, he could have like walked. I don't know why. Why did he jump off the mountain?
I could have flown him. As
Helen
it's
goes
not important right now. What is important is figuring out what is this, and she'll look at the impressions in the tracks.
Yeah, there's a door, man. It's crazy.
Have we been through this door before?
This is the door that washed up on the beach. The door that you opened and let the curses out of.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's moved?
No, it's still on the beach.
Oh, okay.
It has been opened. You see a depression in the sand next to the door, as if it has been opened and laid flat against. And then there's shoes walking or footprints walking away.
So we're seeing this from a distance.
You're right above it. You're on the.
Oh, okay.
The door is closed again. You just see the depression next to it, as if in the sand, as if it had been opened.
Okay, I understand.
Not to turn on any of our friends in town, but there's definitely somebody on the island that is definitely making things worse, at the very least. I mean, if this is proof of anything.
Definitely.
I'll remind you guys as well that I don't think many of you came out looking too good out of that last fight. It was just a long
Yeah.
fight, and you guys all took a lot of hits.
I'm chilling.
Oh, you're chilling? Okay.
I'm chilling at an 80.
I'm at
44.
I mean,
50 hit points.
I was
109.
Oh, okay. Maybe you guys are doing fine then.
I mean, I'm 44 out of 90, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
51 out of 91. So.
Okay, then you guys are actually chilling.
Yeah. When everyone comes back, I'll just do the, what is it? Prayer of healing. What's the one that creates a thing that we can all stick our hands into? I'll do that. So I'll heal us later.
Yeah.
Healing
prayer
spirit. Healing
Or-
spirit. Yeah.
Right. I have prayer of healing though.
Okay.
And
Do y'all have the spell slots?
Yeah.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Yeah. I have quite a few left actually.
Damn. Okay.
I don't
Y'all
have
are
any.
vibing.
I don't have any of my like.
My higher
Oh, I
levels are
guess-
definitely like kaput.
Yeah, I don't have a 6th level slot, but I actually still have a 5th level slot, which is surprising.
Well, you do have effectively the time to take a sleep. Take a sleep if
Take
you
a sleep.
need
Love
to
take a sleep.
before this.
Yeah, we
Kraken
gotta
comes through.
take a sleep. There's no way.
Hi, can I have one sleep, please?
Can I get a sleep?
I would love to use the
Get up.
sleep right now if that so is befitting. All right. So
Okay, here's
Mhm.
we should go look at that more closely. And I'll turn into a giant eagle and I'll grab Bene and Marius and I'll just whoosh us down there
Mhm.
real quick
down where?
to where the
Door is.
door
The
is and where
door.
the
Okay.
tracks are leading out to look
Yeah.
at them.
do you want to do an investigation check on them?
Yeah. What are
I only have a +2 to investigation, so.
Yeah, I have to look up the stats for a giant eagle.
Oh yeah, that's right, because you take all the.
Where is that now
Extra.
in relation to where I am? Did you come down the mountain now, or are you going somewhere else?
I'm
I'm trying to picture the geography so I know how to get back to you guys.
Well, we both went.
You would just
over-
swim around to where they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're now both on the same level. We're just like slightly apart.
Parts.
10 plus. Oh no, that doesn't seem right.
What?
But it is. It's eagles. Giant eagles have a -1 to their intelligence, so nothing has
Oh.
changed in terms of my stats. So
Ruh-roh.
that's a 9.
Okay. Bene or Marius, do you guys want to try?
Might as well.
Yeah.
I thought they were smarter than that.
I got a 13.
Okay.
Oh, 30-20.
Oh shit. Okay.
I have a +1 to investigation. I rolled a 19.
Yay!
Marius, you can see that these tracks were probably made by a man, like pretty
Mhm.
big feet. Bene, you can see that as well as the fact that it was pretty recent within the while you guys were in the lighthouse, whoever came out of there came out of there.
And the
They-
water is still like rushing around the door, right? Like
Yes,
it doesn't
exactly.
touch a small
In
radius
fact, there are
around.
kind of small, you see the imprints of the footprints most clearly right next to the door because it is being the water's washing around it. They
Yes,
become
yes.
fainter as they go along, but it's very clear that it's going into it's kind of finding its way around to the tide pools, the marsh, and the farmland.
Okay. And
um,
is there a set of tracks going back into the door?
No.
Okay.
So
So
whoever
Marius
came out
is-
is still out there.
Marius is probably right. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's okay. No, I'm
Mhm.
not gonna say my metagame thought because what if it comes
You
true?
can do it.
I don't want to say it. 'Cause what if it comes
Give me
true?
ideas.
Well,
Write this story for
there's
me.
an extra
please.
space on those tables, and the only person of the people who like live on the island who doesn't have someone who got is Qell. So I'm worried for someone related to Qell. That's all I'm gonna say. That's
Mhm.
all I'm worried about. Anyways.
Who knows?
Anyways.
This is
Um,
gonna get spicy.
It's gonna get spicy. Qell, do you want to finish off yours, the spell that you're doing, and then rejoin the group?
Yeah, so it's actually not even a spell.
Oh, okay. The ability.
It's just
They're using.
it's just something. It's just a use of a thing. So as he appears in the shallows there, he wades out just a little bit more, just like barely above his ankles. And he'll look out kind of onto the horizon, and he'll reach out to Guardios first.
Mhm.
And he'll say to Guardios specifically, I need your help, my friend. Tell the Ashok we sing the deep beacon.
You have my voice and theirs as well.
So he actually begins to sort of stomp in a way.
Mm-hmm. On the water surface?
Not like, he's
Focusing
not
the
like
chakra to
Jesus
the bottom of
walking,
your feet?
but he's
Yeah.
stomping into the water and he's creating ripples outward.
Okay, gotcha.
And he begins creating sort of a beat, and the ripples echo out more, and that water that's gushing from his swords begin to come up too. And he begins doing that dance to the beat that he's creating in the water, the dance that he had done before at the party, but now it's serious. And anyone who could see him would know that it was that same movement, but this is what it's meant to be used for. And as he's doing this, the beat becomes clear and it swells sort of through the water, almost like in Pirates of the Caribbean when the medallion touches the water and it, out, sort of creating that kind of effect. And he begins singing this haunting alien melody. It doesn't seem to have words, just emotion behind it. And it sort of echoes out onto the water's surface. And mechanically what he's doing is he is using Friend of the Sea. And he is calling out, vibing out to any of the creatures around, any sea creatures here in the shallows. And as he continues to do this dance, it becomes like this twirling, acrobatic, but also rhythmic haka-like movement. His teeth are bared up in the direction of the tentacle of the Kraken. And he's sticking his tongue out, and he's like, his eyes are wide, but he's still singing this strangely beautiful melody. And what he's reaching out, what he's telling to the creatures is, I sing to you the deep beacon. Tell the others, tell them all, tell your families, tell everyone. Defend our home, defend our home, defend our home.
Do you have to roll anything for this ability, or is this passive?
It's just Friend of the Deep. I'm just flavor texting Friend of the Deep. He's trying to get the emotion of defend our home and tell the others. He's trying to create a telephone chain. And in my mind, this is an ancient thing the Ashok Mar do. And in telling Guardios to tell the other Ashok, they're doing it too. So it's widening the area. So all of the Ashok Mar right now who are responding to this beacon through Guardios are now telling all the fish and sea creatures around them to tell the other fish, tell the other creatures, defend our home, defend our home. And it's spreading outward through this entire ocean of this area.
You are... I mean, I'm going to make you wait a little bit to see what happens from that. But the beacon has been sent.
Okay. You would definitely hear, if you're cool with this, I think you would definitely hear other Ashok voices matching the song coming up from the water. You would hear like all of the Ashok who are responding to this, their voices all sort of...
Okay, yeah.
Because if all of the Ashok Mar are singing this song, I don't know if you would hear it from up above if they're all singing at the same time. I don't know the science of that. Would people hear it from up above?
This is magic. This is magic.
The song itself, well,
the sound waves do travel through water, obviously.
Not well though.
Okay. So who knows whether you hear it or not, but you do feel as if all the Ashok are singing.
Okay.
If
and
a fish sings in the ocean and no one's around to hear it, is it singing?
After a couple of minutes, he'll finish it off, and he'll thank the depths, and he'll just look at his swords, and then disappear them away, and then just sort of burst at a run back toward the group as soon as he can.
Cutting back to everyone else, Helen goes on the top of the cliff being like, all right, well, I guess I'll see you guys later. I'll keep Mayor Captain Nuzu updated, so good luck, because I imagine you're going to need it. What do you guys want to do?
Didn't she mention that they're having a town meeting? We should probably...
Oh, yeah, they said that there's a kind of a war room happening at the town hall. They didn't say that specifically, but that is what is happening.
Yeah, we should go to that.
We should probably make ourselves known.
Yes. Definitely. So you guys start making your way over there, join back up with Qell.
Calanthe stays an eagle for as long as she can because it's fun.
Yeah, you see tracks leading off kind of into the off of the beach into like the tide pool area, but you don't really see where they're going.
Is that towards the long way down where Guardios is moving?
No, the Guardios isn't moving to the long way down. Guardios is in the cave underneath the long way down. They're in the sea caves below that.
Okay.
It's away from that because that's kind of almost to the right of where you are, I think. Yes, that's to the right of where you are.
Okay.
So you guys head back that way. And as you enter the tourism district, you see that there's just a flurry of activity going on. They seem to be going through a process of dragging the smaller vessels up onto land and kind of like into the tourism district so that if the Kraken comes to the dock, it won't fuck people's property up.
Mm-hmm.
The adults are all kind of working in this kind of quiet, intense concentration, but there are kids kind of running around between the boats and laughing. You see a lot of the visitors kind of working to try to save their own boats as well, and you see Pier, Crest, and Qell Carrington directing boats, like larger vessels, to go around the very thin line between the fog and the shoreline, and you can assume they're probably going to park in the back beach or like try to pull themselves onto shore in the back beach so that they don't get fucked up by the Kraken.
So none of these larger vessels that we have are outfitted with the capacity to hold, artillery or anything.
You see, roll me a investigation check.
No.
You could do perception if you want.
Yeah. Okay. That's 27.
Yeah, you do it. You see Flo and Jet Sam, the owners of the kind of trinkets and tradable shop. They have a fairly large vessel that maybe was from some pirating days previously called the Siren's Secret. They're currently outfitting that to have some cannons on it and preparing artillery. You also actually, Bene, you're surprised to see the Golden Hour is being fitted with cannons.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, Calanthe, you clock that as well. And as you are making your way towards the town hall when you hear a voice. Now hold on just a minute. And you turn to see a dragonborn man staring at your group, but pointedly at Bene, actually. Bene, would you do a history check on this guy for me, please?
Sure.
Perfect.
Someone we haven't met yet.
Someone you haven't met yet.
What is my history? Oh, it's just one.
Okay. You could do insight as well, I suppose. You could choose between those.
Is my insight pretty good? Your insight's a little bit better. That's a 17.
You recognize this guy. You haven't spoken to him a ton face to face, but he's local. He's not from Maralone itself, but he's either from Vushan or the outlying neighborhoods. His name is Durak, and big strapping dragonborn guy wearing a button-up shirt, trousers with suspenders, and work boots. He's fixing this little ill-fitting pair of round spectacles back onto his face, and He looks around at the gathered crowds and he says, "We've been in the dark for days now. We can't leave. We can't contact our family and friends outside the island. All the mayor has told us is that we are in danger, and the four of you have been ordained or designated as the heroes that will save us. Now we're pulling our boats out of the ocean because a kraken is descending on us. Many of us would like to know who we're putting our lives in the hands of, and I think we deserve that knowledge." And he's just dead, making eye contact with Bene as the person he recognizes the most.
Are you questioning whether or not the Kraken is here? Like, I don't understand what. Like,
I'm questioning I'm questioning why we're trapped here, why we can't go home.
What part of there is a Kraken do you not understand? I mean, like, sir, if you would like, you can absolutely hop on a boat and try to make it past the Kraken if you think you can really make it. I will not stop you.
That doesn't explain the fog. That doesn't explain you, the four of you wandering into town looking like you've been through hell, which I can't imagine, but what's really happening here?
Would you like to join us, sir? Again, I'm not going to stop you if you want to come and help us.
There's a lot of unanswered questions. We would like to know just as much as you do why the fog is the way it is, who is responsible. We're trying our best, frankly.
Yeah, why are you stressing us out?
Because it feels as if we all might die. And I think that is a cause for worry, personally. Maybe you don't see that, but I do.
Worry is one thing, sir. And he looks at Bene, and he does actually sort of put a hand kind of on the, like in the middle of his back, and he goes, "I know you are afraid, but this is a man of valor, and you would be wise to offer him your respect."
Get down. Back the fuck up.
At the town hall, we can tell you what we have seen, where we have been. We can tell you our adventure, if you could call it as such. But the truth is, we are putting out fires as we see them. We know so little about what is happening, only that we must do something, because we can.
He nods. He looks at some other seemingly leaders of the visitor population, and they follow you to the town hall. We just want answers. If we're going to die, we want to know why.
Well, that is a fair sentiment, but all of you being kept in the dark is not our fault. I would hate to throw her under the bus, but Mayor Captain Nuzu is responsible for that blunder. We've just been doing our part.
Fair enough. So yeah, an assembly of them will follow you guys to the town hall. Sorry, was someone about to say something?
Well, I was just going to say, to be fair, death is not something that frequently makes itself understood.
Ooh, that one hit.
Wise words. Sorry, what was that?
I was just, that hit.
Yeah.
That particular line just cut right to the core of what Qell's been dealing with this entire time. And it's like, it's visible.
Marius goes up. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry,
no, it's visible that when Marius says that, Qell is just like.
Marius goes up and stabs Qell in the heart. Straight up. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, you guys go to the town hall. You see Mayor Captain Nuzu in the doorway. She kind of looks at Bene quizzically and then looks at the crowd and beckons you all in.
As they pass, because I imagine she's standing in the doorway and everyone's just going past her as they all pass. Calanthe just sort of like does that as she passes and whispers into Mayor Captain Nuzu's ear, "You fucked up."
She sighs and acknowledges that she may have done that by nodding. And as you guys, what was that?
No, go ahead.
As I was just gonna say, as I'm gonna yada through it, she goes through, to the best of her knowledge, what has been going on. She lays out the events of the past few days to the people present, and then we'll move into getting you guys up to speed on what their current plans are, unless any of you have anything you want to say to her.
Bene kind of like, I don't know, I'm assuming like it's kind of a town hall. And so Bene kind of stands up and it's just like, listen, I know some of you are upset that you've been kept in the dark. He's looking directly at Durock. He's just like, but what's most important is not how you feel in this moment. The most important thing is us protecting this island and the people who are here. Whether or not they're assholes is unfortunately irrelevant. And the mayor here has been doing a fantastic job, I feel, of putting out as many fires as possible, and us doing as much for this island as we possibly can. And we truly do just ask for your patience. Chill the fuck out, and we'll all be good. And just listen to us.
Roll me a persuasion check, please.
Cool.
He chilled so hard he froze.
You will
start clapping,
say, you can roll with advantage because they started clapping for you.
Okay.
So if you roll bad, we will look very stupid.
Yeah. Okay. I got y'all. Oh. Ooh. I have a +2 to persuasion, and I rolled a 19.
Oh shit! There you go. Hell yeah.
13 and 19.
That's money.
That's pretty excellent. The people around kind of nod, and Durock says, I'm not much of a fighter myself, but if there's anything that we can do to defend ourselves and defend this island, even though it's not many of our homes, I think there are those of us who will try.
Durock, that's the way to be a good person. It's not your home, but you still do what you can to help out. That's the energy we need. And let's and I want to ask, I guess, does Gasly like know, has she gotten any like leads as far as like, I don't know, any suspicious people on the island, or like, you know what I mean? Has she like, in her doing all of this, has she noticed any people who haven't really been pulling their weight or kind of just like sandbagging, you know?
Yeah. She'll kind of step to the side with you and say, I can't say for sure. Like, everything's happened so fast, and like we're saying, so many fires need to be put out at such a constant clip that it's hard to focus on any one person, especially with the island as full as it is. I mean, no, I can't say. I will say quite the opposite. Derringer Fellis, the Leonin priest who you have spoken to, has been quite the help and has pretty much offered his services any which way he can to try to keep the island calm and together. But in terms of people trying to actively hold up the process, or I imagine their best way to do that would be to interfere with the four of you, I haven't seen that.
What about in the past? How much time has passed since we went into the lighthouse?
Oh, I just did this. Oh, it's you went in. I think you guys went pretty early in the morning. I'll say like 8 or 9 a.m. You probably came out at 10 or 11. And it's probably noon now.
Oh.
How about in the past 4 to 6 hours? Has anyone noticed? And she's not just talking to Yasli, she's talking to everyone who's here. Has anyone seen someone you haven't recognized in the past 4 days? I know a lot of you are strangers with one another, but anything that stands out.
Let me roll for this.
Chunky dice.
Let me roll again.
Chonk.
Chunk. How big is that dice?
It's not big. I'm on a fucking beer pong table right now.
Oh.
That's why it's so loud.
It sounded like it was like this
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
I do have chunky Santa dice where he's walking through the snow, but that's about it.
If Eric had a nickel for every time someone asked how big are those dice, he'd have a lot
of nickels.
I should be using my
Akil,
dice for this.
Calanthe, Akil Carrington, the dockmaster, will say, I did do a little circle around the island to make sure that larger vessels would be able to make it into the over to the back dock and the back beach. And when I was passing the back beach, I saw someone in a cloak, almost like robes, disappearing. It was like they had walked out of that door that was on the ground, and they were walking around the island back to the tide pools or to the marsh.
And when was this?
Not more than 2 hours ago.
Okay.
Maybe an hour.
Calanthe wants to be like, and you didn't tell anybody, but she's just gonna keep her mouth shut because that's not the energy we need right now.
I think. Let me see if Akil is.
We're all thinking that.
Akil feels a sudden deep tension pervade the
Cold
entire
wind.
group,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, that was important, wasn't it? I just there was so much activity in terms of getting the ship safe, and I just didn't. Oh dear."
Bene looks at Akil and he's like, Akil, I've known you for a very long time. And honestly, I think you're a very great person. That being said, when there's a giant Kraken and people are going missing, and things are just going into a slow descent into hell, maybe, just maybe, mention that there's a man in a dark, or a person in a dark cloak. 10 out of 10 times they're probably going to be bad. And we should probably know that.
He starts crying a little bit, but he's like, yeah, no, that's entirely, yes.
But but listen, hey, I get it. You got a lot on your plate, buddy. I get it. Totally get it.
He's sweating it, certainly. But fair point, well made. So as people are kind of talking and settling down, Marius, roll me a perception check really quick.
Before I do that,
yeah, go for it.
I have an aside that I want to pull Duroc over to the side, and I'm gonna go. So I understand you're very eager to help, and I think the best thing to do at this moment in time is to help everybody on the island, big or small, man or woman, whatever. Figure out some way that they can fight. There's an awful lot of booze on this island. Do you know how to make a Molotov cocktail?
Benny's ears go,
I think I may have read about that somewhere. Seems pretty simple enough from what I remember.
If you need any help, I can show you. But
Anarchist Marius pulls up on the scene. Sorry,
I
go
learned
ahead.
from a sailor who's from Molotova.
Exactly. Okay, so you want me to perception?
Yeah, please.
20.
Hey, you notice
Oh.
Derringer Fellows, the Leonin priest, is kind of eyeing you out of the corner of his eye, and upon making eye contact with you, he comes over to you and whispers in your ear, "I need to speak with you after this meeting is over, privately."
Sure, of course.
Mhm.
I'll come to you.
Okay. And as that conversation dies out, Yasley kind of takes front and center stage and says, "Well, to get you all up to speed, we're unsure what the Kraken will attack once it breaches, so we're trying to shore up any possible targets. We're pulling what ships can be brought onto the dock and moving others around to ground them on the back beach as much as possible. Our main worry, however, is the Great Reef of Guardios. Obviously, as the fog has encroached, the Ashokmar and Guardios have made the wise choice to move into the cave system below the long way down, but that does tend to leave them rather trapped. Obviously, the Ashokmar are prodigious warriors, but whatever support we can lend by ship, we'd like to." And she looks over at Qell. "We haven't been able to communicate with them much, but Qell, maybe you can be of some help with that."
I will speak to my sister. She's captain of the first wave, the Ashok Royal Guard. I think, I know they will lend their blades to this fight, should it come to that.
Excellent.
I would also advise not to underestimate the sea itself to defend those who help it along.
Wise words. Very wise words.
I do have a question of
Yeah, go
clarification,
ahead.
though, just first for lore
Please.
purposes.
Yeah.
This thing has come here before, and I know that I fought it before and barely survived. What exactly happened then? Like, how did? Because if this whole island has fought it before, right?
Yeah.
Your
So, like,
backstory, bro.
No.
Well, no, but I know
Yeah,
that
no,
it
no,
also
no.
ties into the entire island backstory in a way that
Yes.
this thing like attacked the island before.
Mhm.
But I was kind of feeling like maybe it didn't get all the way to the island. Maybe like they sent ships out and people
Mhm.
were fighting it, trying to keep it away, and they barely just got its attention away. But it almost read like it just decided like, it's not worth it and left. We didn't really fight it off.
Yeah.
Like the meta is that Qell gets a lot of credit for like, oh, he repelled the Kraken that one time. So I feel like he's in a weird spotlight right now because people know that like, oh, he fought it off before, but he knows like he didn't really do anything. It just kind of decided that it wasn't worth it and left. Like he barely survived.
Yeah. In my mind, while the Kraken, I think in my mind, I had imagined that the Kraken was going more for the port of Vushan, but it makes sense that it would be distracted by Maralone as this kind of extra point of carnage along its path. So yeah, I think that's correct, basically what you laid out. There was a kind of rush in the port of Vushan. Legendary creatures like this aren't seen very often, so when they are, people kind of want to challenge them and take them on. The pirate that Marius knows, Shoebuckle, was the first ship out and just got absolutely annihilated, which is why his whole crew died and he lost his mind a little bit. So once many people saw that happen, I think they were a little bit hesitant to get fully involved. There was some kind of fire from afar, with some kind of spellcasters and people of that ilk leading the charge to try to do some serious damage to it. But yeah, essentially what you're saying, that it was just barely fought off and was injured and just had to leave, is probably the way it went down. And yeah, Qell is held up as the symbol of that victory, although...
And he's been feeding that narrative.
Yeah.
Too. But he's feeling it now. Like...
dang, I didn't think this was going to come back and bite me in the ass.
Yeah, like... me right now is struggling with like, is And Qell too. He's struggling. Like, is he gonna come clean right now? Is he gonna say like, "Look, man"? And so he's clearly like he's not been super involved in this conversation, short of when he was just addressed right now. Because he's sort of standing up there with the group, but he's thinking about something else.
I'm gonna insight check to see if I can glean any of that.
Do it.
That's a 18.
Damn. You want to roll deception?
I don't know if you're trying to hide any of it, but
yeah, he is, because he's trying to kind of he wants people to not have a lack of confidence in him and the people who are defending right now. He doesn't need them to know that he barely survived last time. That's a natural 20.
Damn.
Wow.
Oh,
He's keeping it together.
Qell can lie when it matters.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
Damn,
So
it's a teen.
it would have been tasty if you had seen it, but
Yasli kind of wraps up the meeting by saying, we have some ships outfitted with necessary equipment to fight, cannons and what have you. If anybody else is willing to offer their ships, no matter how small or large they may be, to kind of help on the offensive, that would be much appreciated. Currently, we have the Golden Hour and the Siren's Secret. She looks at Calanthe and says, is the above-board boat seaworthy enough to take on a Kraken?
Well, if you think about it, no boat is worthy enough to take on a Kraken. If your question is, can it handle heavy artillery? It can, right?
Yeah, it can, yeah.
Yeah, it can. Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
So, Kyleson will kind of pop his head up and be like, "Oh, I can, like the captain, Captain Calanthe can obviously pilot that, but I can also kind of lead the charge with that as well if she's needed elsewhere, with the four heroes and all that. But I just might need to crew up with some people, and Dirac will kind of raise his hand as someone to help out.
Nice.
So that's stacked. So I think people start to disperse and go about their business. Unless, does anyone have any questions? Yasli will proffer.
My only question was, what did the Ashak have to say? But she said that they don't know yet. So
the Ashak have not been super communicative with the drylanders.
of
Dry walkers.
course.
Is it dry walkers or drylanders?
Landers.
Drylanders. Got it. Okay, perfect. So everyone starts to disperse and go about their businesses again. Bene, Yasli kind of sidles up to you and goes, "Hey, so I kind of delegated some of the aspects of the party to Derringer Fellas. He's going around and getting inventory with the shops and everyone, just to see what supplies we have left from the party and what could be or from the festival and what could be used for this kind of celebratory party to see if we either survive or imminently perish. How are you doing?"
Well, I think I'm doing all right. I feel like the people just need a bit of guidance, and I feel like we're all kind of feeling a bit. It's a bit heavy,
Mhm.
It's like, I try to keep morale up, but I can't lie, sometimes it feels like I'm trying to throw a party while a giant Kraken is threatening my hometown and my life, It just feels like that,
Yeah, it's crazy when things feel like what they are. But no, that's fully understandable. You have been put under an immense amount of pressure, and I'm trying to recognize that and not emphasize it.
Well, thank you.
But
I mean, I feel like everyone here is going through it in one way or another.
But just, I don't know. try to keep your cool if anything else happens, like with that man Dirac was his name.
Yeah, it's such
I know he's being a little bit of a bastard, but
really
Benny,
you know.
Benny, your skill, your talent, like it's bringing people together, and that's something that's so incredibly rare. You shine light on people and make them feel as if they are the heroes of, life. That's why you're so good on the Golden Hour. That's why you have so many friends in Bushan.
There.
You bring people together, and I just don't want you to lose sight of that as something that is so uniquely you. Like Qell, obviously, Qell is a symbol, and perhaps sets aspirations for those around him to live by. But you actualize goodness. You actualize community. The two of you are similar in a lot of ways, but I'm sorry, I'll stop talking your ear off. I gotta go do things. But maybe a drink if we make it out of this.
That sounds amazing. I will buy a round for literally everyone who survives.
Cheers to that.
And he's like, I got rich parents.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Bene also looks to Yaz and he just says, Captain, Mayor looks good on you.
Oh, I know. She winks at you as she goes about her business. And she's definitely going to be leading the charge with Pier and Crest on the Golden Hour. So cool. She's about to see her fighting days come back. Yeah. Two things that need to be accomplished are Marius' scene and Qell's going to confer with the Ashok Mar. Who wants to go first?
I feel like I've already done a lot today. I think somebody else should go first.
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
So I go up to I go out to I guess I have to find where he went.
He's waiting outside for you.
Okay.
He nods to you and kind of minutely gestures for you to follow him. And he starts walking you towards the farmland and towards the chapel. And he says, so I've been doing that research that was requested of me by Qell and all of you to kind of look into older religions, elemental religions that existed within this region. And I came across some startling information. And as someone, we're both outsiders, we're both men of belief, and I wanted to run this by you first, just to get your impression of it. And he leads you into the chapel. He leads you back into the kind of rectory and into the office of Preacher Bluebond. And he'll say, did you talk at all, Preacher Bluebond, while you've been on the island before the festival?
I think we might have had a little bit of a conversation. It wasn't much.
Yeah, you guys talked very, very briefly in the chapel. You just interviewed him for the paper, essentially.
Right. Yeah.
And
yeah, I was learning about the history.
Yeah.
Of the island.
And he goes, huh. Okay. Well, I'm a preacher, but you might find it a point of interest to know that my innate state is kind of distrusting. I've heard a lot of lies in my life, and so he goes behind the desk, which is well away from the bookshelf, which is lined with several books. He opens one of the top drawers and removes a false bottom, and he puts 3 books out onto the counter, or the desk that stands between the two of you. Do you know what this book is? Sorry, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Well, I was just going to say, I think a healthy dose of skepticism is important to any faith. I truly believe.
You're right about that. You're saying a lot of very wise words today.
I learned from some very wise folks.
Cheers to that. Are you familiar with this book at all? He points to the first book in the lineup, and it is called... I wrote this down. The Hierarchies of the Holy.
Am I familiar with it?
You could roll a religion check if you wanted to.
Okay. 16.
Oh, that's good, yeah. I think that you've read this once or twice before, but it's not something that Shoebuckle would have kept around the temple. Or sorry, it's not something that Rhubarb, your dad, would have kept around the temple.
Pappy. It's
this book that Derringer goes into, and it's like, I mean, if you're familiar with this, then you can kind of understand why many people, religious people, don't perhaps ascribe to it. Kind of mathematizes religion and makes it a little bit too nitty-gritty for some people who prefer to rely on belief.
A bit secular.
A bit secular, indeed. It has a lot of the information that Qell was requesting, actually. It follows this history of religion throughout the world and kind of posits that in the earliest days, people worshipped elementals, water, fire, skies, what have you. But as the world became larger or smaller, depending on how you look at it, as people put names to things, and created with those names personifications for different geographical markers, anything. It created gods of those things. So, for instance, you worship Lucent, who is the embodiment of the Lucent Ocean, one of 5 oceans in our world, each of which have their own particular deity. Right. So that kind of goes all the way down. You can go to a region with a volcano, and people around that region may worship the volcano and personify the god of that. And gods, depending on how large their domain is, being Lucent is a pretty powerful god, given that he controls a whole ocean, can do little nudges into human destiny and human happenings, but never fully change things. So depending on how large your domain is, the greater ability you have to affect it and to affect human life. And this is somewhat true the world around. This is kind of a theory, but if you look at some of the most popular gods, they're often associated with geographical points or defined elemental forces, not just fire at large, but this particular eternal fire, not just water at large, but this ocean.
Right.
The thing that a lot of religions around the world have, there are many of the major religions, is kind of this overarching uber god, though, and that's what Terramatria is. Terramatria, as much as she is ascribed and described as representative of the land, is more like a life force, and there is kind of a life force god for many different religions. We all imagine that we come from Terramatria and return to Terramatria. Birds die and fall to the ground and are subsumed in the earth and taken back up. So, and you stop me if this is some information that you've heard before. It is possible for a god to be forgotten or kind of erased. If, say, this volcano religion, say the god of that volcano was not strong enough to deter this major eruption from happening. The lava came out and God, Terramatria forbid, murdered the surrounding region or disposed of the surrounding region and all the believers within it. So that kind of brings us to this book, and he points at the center book, which is called Felling of the Almighty Theoretical Worship, and it's a little bit newer. It actually looks the newest of all the books. And he says, if there is a token of that god still in existence, even if there are no worshippers, the idea of that god still remains. If under all of that ash and rubble of those towns around that volcano, there's one doll or minor statue that somehow survived all of this damage, then that god isn't necessarily completely erased. But these are referred to as felled gods. But I've been studying felled gods a little bit. I've at least come across it in my research. And it didn't seem, it's great to speculate about them, but it never seemed as if there was a way to revive felled gods. And in a lot of literature that you'll find about felled gods, it will refer to older texts that kind of describe this theory as well, giving a little bit of credence to it, but it never goes into what happens to them or how to bring them back beyond just like restarting a belief. But it's hard to restart a belief when you don't know the name of that god, you just have an image.
Right.
That brings us to the final book, and it's the oldest of all the books. It's black leather with gold embossing on the front. It's all handwritten. Whatever was embossed in the front has long since faded. But Derringer very quickly kind of flips to this one page that clearly is the most read and dog-eared, as it were. And that seems to be where we find ourselves now. This book contains necromantic magic that I thought long since forgotten in our world, and the directions as to how to complete these rituals. We are in one of those rituals right now.
Well, this isn't particularly... Let's just say I'm not surprised.
Exactly. It's nothing about what's happening here is natural, but the kind of layout of how this works is 7 initial sacrifices are needed to drain. By draining their life force, the summoner is able to kind of pull the god from beyond the veil. Once the god is brought from beyond the veil into having its name rewritten again into reality, it then becomes a part of the summoner. It becomes the host. And by becoming the host, it can do way more than just nudge reality. It can shape it. And it comes with all, like, as we just discussed, a god's domain is kind of the source of their power. If this is an old god that represents something quite large, then the power would be akin to its largeness. So the 7 sacrifices are only the initial payment of the cost. Once the 7-day span is fully spent and the 7 sacrifices have been fully given to whatever felt god is being resurrected, then sorry, I should have explained it first. This whole ritual has to happen in a space which is being kind of removed from reality. We are in an interdimensional space, and it sounds like you guys have been going into interdimensional spaces all this time as you fought these curses. Once the 7 days have completed, this reality will kind of fall into itself. That's what the fog is, and everyone in it will be sacrificed. And all of their power will be then again given to the host and the god.
That's really not good.
It's quite bad. I would agree. So, obviously this is hyper pertinent information to many people. You are one of the people who's at the center of this, and actually, it's the black marks. It's kind of it is the loophole of this ritual, and it's kind of the most difficult parts of this ritual are essentially you need someone unknowing to open the gate for the god to come through. It can't be the actual summoner. The summoner only takes over from there, but someone else has to open the door, and those become the black spotted ones who can then, defeat the thing. So as we all go out to fight this Kraken, I think a fair number of us will be able to damage the Kraken, but it is up to the four of you to actually put it down. I think
Okay.
again, that's why we can't go into these different realms with you, is that we are not the chosen, as it were.
I see.
So he stacks all the books up, pushes them across to you, and says, I don't want to put this on you if it feels like too much of a weight, but I mean,
Feels a little late for that, doesn't it?
I mean, well, he laughs a little bit and he says, I mean, I can come with you and present all this information, but you're the hero. You all are the heroes.
Ooh.
And obviously,
kind of picks up the books,
yeah.
Tucks them into his bag. Well, I guess, aside from the Kraken, this summoner is someone we need to find, and quickly.
Yes, I think, I mean, this is me jumping to conclusions, but I think Preacher Bluebond may not be quite who he purports himself as.
Mm.
So, while we let us go out into the world and damage the religious infrastructure of this island.
Let's.
You guys wrap it up and head back to the kind of town tourism district.
They exit.
Yeah.
And immediately to their left,
they
just see Calanthe leaning up against the wall, and she goes, "Boo." She's not gonna let a single person go off by themselves when there's like some stranger.
Roll me perception that you heard all of that, though. I will say the window is open to the rectory. Derringer didn't think to close that.
She trusts nobody now.
True.
Perception, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking. Well, that's not so ass, actually. 18.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You heard most of it. I think you might have tuned out at a lot of the discussion of the metaphysics of religion. But you tuned back in once it got to the curse and all that
ears
jazz.
Perked up. Yeah, it was not my intention to eavesdrop. It was more of like, I'm going to make sure this man is not taking Marius to kill him.
Yeah, that's fair. And sorry for that
Marius
brutally
just
long lore dump.
I go off and strange men say, follow me, and I go, oh.
Calanthe intentionally let him like be at like the sort of the edge of her vision or purview, because one, she didn't want to be seen, and two, she didn't want to like interfere or like infringe on Marius's sense of independence. But Calanthe is very much mama bear, mama anything right now.
Hell yeah.
For everyone. Like, she's not gonna just let people go places alone, unknown, you know.
A good call, especially with someone mysterious lurking around the island.
Yeah.
Derringer will go, oh, hello.
Just
sorry.
Speaking of strange characters, we should probably find that blue bond fellow.
Yes. You don't know where he is. I mean, you can assume he's either in the door or out of it.
Right.
Anybody want to do anything? Very broad question.
Well, I gotta talk to Sheena.
Yeah, we gotta talk to Sheena.
If there's maybe a place. Are there sea caves where they're kind of like on the beach-ish, but like one of those kinds of caves where like water goes into them, and maybe there's like a little bit of like place to walk around the rim of it, but it's like in a cave?
Yeah, we'll say that because the battle map I'm using today does have 2 caves on it, even though there's supposed to be only 1 cave at this level. We're going to say now that there's 2 caves. There's one that's kind of more near the back beach. It is not the cave that is directly below the long way down, but it is kind of connected to it and does have that kind of sandy yet watery area that you're discussing or talking about.
I was thinking of maybe there's a place like that where Ashok kids go to like practice walking on land sometimes, because it's like in a cave, it's secret, people can't see them, but there's a little bit of land, but there's mostly water, so if they fail they can just go into the water somewhere like that, if there's a place like that. And I'm not just saying this because I saw Luca recently and I'm thinking of it, but yeah, that kind of thing. Like a walking practice, sort of a cheeky, like maybe not even official, maybe it's just known that like Ashok kids go there to like practice walking.
Absolutely.
If you don't know where your kid is, they're probably there.
In the walking cave. Yeah, maybe it's the walking cave.
The walking cave. Love a walking caves.
So he's gonna tell Guardios, or he's gonna ask Guardios, he's like, could you please ask Sheena to meet me in the walking cave?
You wait for a second and then hear she will find her way there imminently.
Thank you. He'll go straight there. Well, if this was, I assume this happens at the same time they go to do that. So he'll probably tell them where he's going. He's not just going to go off by himself.
Yeah, okay.
He'll tell the whole group, like, I'm going to go talk to my sister. I'll be right back.
Gotcha. Told the squad.
Or maybe like, I'll meet you at the house later.
Yeah, that sounds good. Told the squad, go over to the walking cave. It's cool in there and nice. There's just a little sound of water flowing in and out. Definitely a calm before the storm. And it takes a minute, but Sheena eventually arrives looking a little bit harried, wearing her Ashokmar warriors. What would a traditional Ashok warrior be wearing?
Ooh, interesting. I think some armor is made from Guardios's like shed parts. I think that's reserved for like specific like people of high importance, so she might have some pieces of Guardios like on the armor, but mostly Ashok armor tends to be made of like really hard shells. Like Qell, for example, he's only got like one like armor piece on, and it's on his one shoulder, and it's like this big giant snail shell that's like has a swirling pattern on it, and it comes up this way, kind of guards half of his neck. So a lot of stuff like that you'll see. They're not a heavy armor people most of the time, but like some of them pull it off. I imagine she's some kind of like fighter if we had to put a class on her. So maybe even like a battle master fighter, because she's a leader of troops. So I think she would have something like that. She would have some sort of like interwoven shell armor with key pieces of like big chunky rock-like Guardios shoulder pieces and maybe a chest piece.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. Love that. She goes, brother, it's good to see you. Are you well?
I do not know how to answer that question. I live, but
I suppose none of us are truly well at this time. How can I be of service to you?
Must it always be service?
You are the hero. You're the chosen.
You know, the amount of people who are saying this to me under normal circumstances, any day before this, I would have reveled in it. But today, the word rings sour to my ears, and I wish to hear it no more. Today, I simply wish to be your captain of the first wave, and I am sure that you heard me invoke the deep beacon earlier today.
Yes, I've heard some, as many forces of aquatic creatures as can seem to be readying themselves for what's to come. Of course, given the fog's encroachment, many of these creatures are being pushed in or have perished, gone into the fog to never return. But those that are here have heard the call.
I do not invoke that beacon lightly. The sea does so much to protect us, nourish us. To ask it for more, it will never feel right. I had hoped I would never need to, but this day has proven a challenge.
Well, we don't often have many allies on our side besides the sea, so
I'd like to see this change. I think these people that I am with, they have shown me things, fought in ways and for things that I had not even considered. And forgive me, I know you wish not to hear any more of my sermons about the...
Brother, what can these people offer us in this time? We are the ones who know the ocean. We are the ones who know water. We are the ones that know what lives within it. If anyone can oppose this Kraken, it is us. I don't know what drylanders can do to stop it. You're the one who sent it on its way before. No one else, right?
Sheena, I am not enough. One man, one person has never been enough. The things that seek to destroy, they do not respect the line between land and sea. This Kraken, this beast, it breaks the swells, it drags others below, and those which are below above. It cares not for the boundary. It has none. Evil so rarely does.
Brother, if there are ways for the drylanders to help us, then I will welcome it. But for now, I must do everything I can to protect Guardios and those who reside within it. The children have already been sent towards the tide pools in the hopes that that a rocky boundary will keep them from the Kraken.
And Fantayan?
Fantayan with them.
I cannot lose their confidence at this time. I need to... You must know that all that time ago, we repelled it once. This time I think we can truly end it, but we must work together. If the first wave can lend their blades, fight with them, with me, all of us together, then I think we have a chance, a real chance here. But after that, I cannot promise you that things will ever be quite the same for me. And
Well,
you can accept that or not. I have to let that go.
One thing that will not change is that I will still be your sister and Fantian will still be your brother, no matter what happens. So, her face kind of falls for a second. It's this moment of losing composure, and you see the anxiety and the tension and the fear that is buried by degrees.
He'll cup her cheek.
All rise up to the surface.
And he'll ask her,
Mm-hmm.
do you remember the last time we were here together?
Vaguely. She smiles.
I recall you catching me with my friends, with Amados, trying to strengthen our land legs, so to speak. Here we thought we were so clever, hiding ourselves away from the prying eyes of the council, me away from my teacher, Amados from his parents and from his workmaster. And you came so ready to send us home. But I dragged you up to the surface and watched you pick it up like it was nothing. Like the muscles in your legs have never degraded since the day you were born. And I knew that we were not so different.
And let us hope that our younger brother will, she was about to say will live, but what says will be allowed to see those golden days of mischief as well. Now, if you don't mind, I will take my leave.
Of course.
The Drylanders can help. We will take that help, but the first wave is ready to fight. And she departs from the walking cave and heads back to Gordios. Any last thoughts or feelings as Qell sits in the cave for a second?
He just sort of looks at his reflection in the water here. And he holds his sword over it and just lets a single drip sort of hit the surface and ripple, distort his reflection a bit. For a moment, it almost makes him look smaller. His reflection almost childlike, almost like Fanti for a second, before it shifts back into place and he just sees just him. And he'll dive into it and let the image break.
Oh, that's good. I like that a lot. So I think you guys could reconvene at Benny's house now if you want, unless any of you has something you want to do individually, but I would love to. Calanthe?
Quick thing.
Yes.
So up until this point, this point being from the time that we finished the lighthouse debacle to now, Calanthe has been pretty like gentle and protective and soft with everyone around, but particularly Marius. But as they're walking away from the chapel, she like grips him by the ear and starts pulling him towards her house. And she's like, now ye need to not go off by yourself without telling anyone.
Right.
First it wasn't in that lighthouse fucking drowning house.
Yep.
Where Qell and you almost went down. And now you go off with some random person who's just visiting on the island?
Wasn't thinking. I'm sorry.
And then like she'll take him to her house and she'll just she'll like in like the floorboards in various rooms there's like chests of stuff and she just gets like two little backpacks, knapsacks, and she just takes out the largest amount of gems and valuable items that Marius has probably ever seen in his life. Like she's just like grabbing handful or like little chests and dumping them into these two knapsacks.
Pirate's booty.
And they're exactly. And it's mainly like gems and diamonds. But she does have two gem encrusted goblets and she puts one in his and one in hers. And she basically gives you a knapsack full of spell components for all of those spells that are like require the big money.
Right.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then
there's no way that it can be legal for me to be holding this.
That was really good.
Well, I mean, it does technically belong all to me and the boys. But
how, you know what? We're in an alternate dimension. Nothing matters.
Let me put it this way. about 75% of what are in these 2 bags are from a man that is dead now, including the goblets.
You're not making it better. Let's just leave it at that. I think we should probably meet up with everyone at Betty's house.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Perfect. So y'all head over there. Any other individual things really quick? Or are y'all good? Benny?
I kind of want to. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was gonna do something with Benny, if that's okay.
Let's hit it. Yeah. Can you do it as you guys are walking over there?
It needs the house.
Okay. Yeah. Well, then you guys are at the house. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to very quietly go into the kitchen, and I'm going to attempt, having no knowledge of mixology as Qell, only having just been drinking the things Benny has been making. He's going to do his best to make 2 margaritas.
Oh, wow.
He's going to try.
Oh my god.
And it's probably going to be so bad. Like, I don't even want to roll for it. I want it to be not really a margarita. I think he just puts like so much ye old rum and then like an entire lemon. Like he just like looks at it and then he just crushes it. And, like,
Oh my
puts it all
God.
in there. And then he just like shakes the seeds out and then he just like puts it on the like rim of the glass.
Oh wow.
And then he like takes some
Incredible.
salt and like throws salt at it, like from his pouch of like cool salt, like his cool magic salt. He'll just like on there. It's not a margarita by any stretch, but it's what he thinks he did it. He thinks he did okay.
2 shots.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yes.
Beautiful.
And he's going to find Benny in the house,
Mhm.
and he's going to offer him one of them. He goes,
Benny like looks up like at what you're handing him. And I'm just like, did you made this?
yes, actually, I tried to after
Okay.
my conversation with Calanthe, I hesitate to use the word mimic. I simply wish to try to offer you something that you have graciously offered me before.
The only day I'll turn down a free drink is when I'm dead. So let's
And you might just die.
let's see how you did. And I I wonder, I think even for Bene, who drinks quite a bit, it's a very strong drink because you just poured literally just rum and a bit of lemon.
Like a whole lemon.
So like Benny is taken aback by, like, even for him, he's just like, oh. This is a very strong drink, Qell. You have a very strong pouring hand.
Benny, your insides are burning. Like,
Yeah,
just
Benny-
on fire.
It's like as if someone just gave Benny just like 151, like
Yeah.
just the hardest
Bet.
liquor. And Benny is like really trying hard to just not like lose it. He's just like, Qell, thank you so much for this. How about we share it? How about we share,
Of
let's share
course.
this between us.
I have no illusions. I am happy to call this yet another thing of yours that I cannot quite replicate.
You're close, man. You're really close. You're. How about this? We'll sit this one. Well, I'll babysit this, and I'll show you how to make them. Like, I'll show you. I'll teach you how to do it.
Yes, that would be nice.
Yeah. No offense. I'm gonna put some juice in this. I have to.
Juice, yes. I should write that somewhere.
Yeah, I have to. It's really strong.
Benny, in all seriousness, I hope you know I meant no offense in the fight before when I left to protect Marius. I left you with that creature, and I thought that if I did not kill it when I used my new ability to transport away, leaving thunder in my wake, I thought that if I did not kill it, it would at least be in a position for you to dispatch easily. I hope you know that I trust you.
Thank you. I mean, it's literally water under the bridge. It's all good. I mean, honestly, I was very impressed, honestly, with your new abilities, and I think you're really becoming a very great team player, and it's really great to see. Listen, we all have to take turns taking care of little Marius over here. We need to make sure he's well taken care of. So
you know what? I think I'm going to refute that. I think I can take care of myself decently okay.
You bust through the door.
So a little.
No.
I feel like a little bit of lightning goes through Marius's fingers. It's just like I can take care of myself.
Who was it specifically that was saying about the differences between Bene and Qell?
Yeah.
That was Yazli.
Yazli, yeah.
Yazli.
So he's gonna try to like move deeper into the kitchen so that having arrived they don't see them. And he's like, and he like scoots over. And he goes, Yazli spoke true about our differences, and I understand that I have been very hard on you in the time that we have known each other, because I have always believed that you behaved as though you were less than you truly were. But in truth, the truth I have been desperately trying to avoid is that the reason that I see such reason to criticize you is because I have behaved in such a way as to convince myself and others that I am more than what I am. But you have something, Bene, you have something that I crave, something I could never replicate, and that is a real connection to the people of this island. In truth, I am proud to know you. Please know that. And he will reach out to like shake your hand in like this way.
You reach out, and Bene just gives you a hug. A very deep, he just gives you a hug, and he says to you, like in the hug, he's like, you don't need to replicate. Just be you. Just no one can be a better Qell than you are. Unless you have a twin. Maybe he can be a little bit better, but not to my knowledge. I don't think that's how the Ashakmar work. But you can be the best you.
Well, I have no twin to speak of, but I do have a younger brother. Perhaps when this is over, you will all get to meet him. But don't we all, at the end of the day, hope and pray that the next generation after ourselves is better than we were?
I mean, people tell me to think that, and I kind of get it. But I think about them now. let's just make sure that they have a future to even experience,
He laughs very heartily, and he pats you kind of on the heart. He does like this to you. He goes,
Not to be that guy or anything, but I don't technically think that time exists with where we are right now.
Okay. All right.
And kind of at that moment, he starts taking out all the books.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Going through all the
Bene-
kind of,
Bene-
The deep lore dump.
yeah,
Bene-
the deep
Bene-
lore dump.
Benny looks to Calanthe and he's like, Calanthe, I thought you hid your stash. What did Marius get into your stash? What is going on here?
Oh no, she actually gave me some of her stash, and then I take out a bag, and it's
God.
really heavy and full.
You can hear the clank of all the gems and the metals and all of that.
So you guys gather. Marius lays out all of the minutia of the lore. Is there any Marius? Do you want to discuss with them how you approach this with the islanders? I mean, you don't have to. Sorry, I don't mean to
Like-
also just like give you a prompt.
like how, yeah, I think this is all very heady, right? And it's kind of these very big ideas. I feel like if we were to just kind of lay it all out for them, it might be a little bit too much.
What they
So-
need right now is direction and structure.
Yes.
I know we just told all of them we would tell them exactly what was happening. But this seems to be the exception.
Right. I think what we can tell them is that once we do in fact take care of this beastly gentleman out in the water, that things should go back to normal. Yeah, I know. But that's probably the best narrative to go with. And if we are successful, it's more likely than not that we'll be able to get things back to normal as well, I imagine.
But what happens if we defeat the thing and then the fog doesn't leave? And
We can come up with excuses, I think.
I think what we should say is, one, keep an eye out for the religion guy whose name I definitely remember because I talked to him a lot because I'm a very religious person.
Blue Bond.
Blue Bond, exactly. And we should definitely tell them that for the way the magic and the fucked up situation is going, we are most likely the only ones who can like deal the final blows. So, don't try to kill it. If you are about to die, it's okay to run away because you probably won't be able to kill it anyways.
Right.
But I think that's all they need to know for now.
Right. I figure
I just don't want them to panic.
Yes, exactly, Calanthe. Like, if they panic, it will just make things a lot worse. And I agree, I think the best narrative is to say, let's focus on this Kraken. We put all the fog and mysteriousness on this Kraken. And
that's kind of what I was.
Yeah. And if once we defeat it, and because we kind of feel like there's someone else kind of pulling the strings here to make this happen, we just play dumb.
I was led to believe that there were to be 7 courses. So the pattern so far has been that we fight a thing and then another thing and another, and that there are going to be 7. So unless my math is wrong, I do not think we are on 7. So
this should be 5, or at least one of the 7, and there should be a couple more. I think just leaving out, like, not even saying if we defeat the Kraken this will happen. I think leaving that part out is because what do they like? Duroc seems ready to point fingers or stir the pot, and if we say something and it doesn't come true, we could have even more of a mess on our hands.
Yes. Very, very true. Then in that case, I guess more so than updating anyone on anything, should probably just try and figure out how to get rid of the rest of curses.
Well, this thing, it is the greatest evil that I have ever faced. And to be here and think that there may yet be 2 greater evils yet to come than this, it is not a thought I wish to linger on.
Qell, would you have stopped by the tourism district at all to update Yasli on what the Ashakmar are doing?
Yeah, and I think too, what I might have done is like, I've since I've fought this thing before, I've probably seen some of its abilities.
Yeah.
So I would probably be telling everyone, including this group right now, like certain abilities that I saw it do so that they can be prepared for it.
Perfect. I think that when you tell Yasli that the Ashokmar children are being moved to the tide pools, she goes, "Oh, okay, amazing, perfect. I'm going to send Caius Dropmore and some of our more talented magical farmers, as well as Celestina," and she pulls Celestina Yelgast over, who's the owns the sawmill. She's like, "Can we make some fortifications around the tide pools so that no one can kind of like get through it? I mean, we know who we're talking about. So a Kraken can't get through it." And Celestina and Caius are like, "Yeah, let's go try it." And so they go off and do that.
Cool.
And kind of back to now, I think Yasli gave you a sending stone as well, like the one that Telengo has.
Oh, nice.
And you hear just in the center of the table, it goes off like a walkie-talkie. It's like, sure. And you hear Helengo's voice, and they go, "All right, we're looking at 2 tentacles fully breached, with the 3rd one starting to make its way out. I would say probably 9.5 more hours."
Could I ask on the
walkie-talkie?
Yeah, on the walkie-talkie sending stone, to if it were possible to also not only set up like artillery on boats, but if we could do that up on land, like up maybe near the lighthouse. That way, you know, we'd have not just on the ocean, but we have some from the land who are, you know, farther away.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant idea. And Yasli says like, "Oh, Benny, that's a brilliant idea." And
Benny, you're killing it.
Benny, you're killing it today. Assembles
margarita.
Assembles some people to bring some cannons and artillery up there, as well as a few spellcasters. Perfect. So, does anybody need to take a sleepy by?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Quell's also going to tell everyone.
Be worth it.
He's been telling everyone too that's been talking to him, like, the sea is going to help, but he phrases it like that. So, like,
don't worry, guys.
Because in his mind, right, in the Ashok, like, the sea and the creatures who live in it, you would just say it's the sea. They're one thing. It's all shock, right? So, like, when he says that to people, they probably don't know that he means like fish and stuff, you know. So there's probably been a lot of like, the sea is gonna help, and they're like, great,
cool.
Like a tidal wave, or
what we're talking here.
But he'll say that to these guys too. Like, he would clarify like that when he did what he did earlier, he was asking for the sea to help.
Bene asked Qell when you like clarify. Benny's just like, do you think there's another Kraken in the ocean who can then come and fight this Kraken? He's like, I saw a movie once where these 2 monsters
stage
were,
play.
like, yeah, like they were fighting on, and I mean that'd be pretty sick.
Yes, I think I have seen the stage play Rim of the Pacific. I recall.
I was gonna say stage play Rim of the Lucent Ocean, but yeah. Incredible.
I do not know.
Well, guess we'll have to wait and see.
So, when you say the sea is going to help, can you elaborate? Can you just explain?
Yes, the Ashok.
That can mean many things.
The Ashokmar, we sang the Deep Beacon, and it. I'm sorry, I'm not used to having to explain these things. Forgive me. I can communicate somewhat with creatures who dwell in the sea.
Right, because you are a fish man.
That feels. Yes. Sure. He's like trying to like brush that off a little bit.
She's fully fucking with him now.
He goes, I put out a call for them to defend our home, and for them to spread the message, and for the other Ashok to sing the song as well. So presumably all sea life in the area, the message has been spread to defend, so we may have some friends of the deep fighting with us.
Wow.
And he says this like it's totally normal.
That is definitely not what I would have expected the sea will help to mean necessarily.
How would you have preferred I say it for next time?
No, I mean now I know. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you could say the sea life is gonna aid us or something like that.
Well, but all the sea is always alive.
that's a good point. He's right.
You did it right the first time. Don't change anything.
No notes.
It is us at fault.
No.
And with that, I think you guys bunker down for bed at 2 p.m.
Perfect.
You know that Yasli knows that you guys are gonna
Take a nap.
take a little nap because you need to regain your spell slots and all that.
Question:
Hit me,
does Bene have a pool?
Ooh, I mean,
John. Does Benny have a pool?
Are they some of those rich people that have a pool when their property is right next to the ocean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say absolutely.
Yeah.
Is it an infinity pool as well?
It's an infinity. Yeah, it's an infinity pool. That's like I'm imagining like where the kitchen is. There's like a sliding door to like a patio, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hot tub?
Oh, of course. I mean,
Okay.
there's
Important.
a hot tub. And there's a hot tub, grilling area, and then like an infinity pool. Yeah.
Okay, Calanthe is gonna cast water breathing on herself and spend her nap in the pool, sleeping in the pool.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, you set up the slam dunk for me, and I appreciate that because you get pulled down,
No.
down as you fall asleep, way deeper than this pool should go. And you keep going and going and going until you wake up and you're in the final bottommost level of the tide pools, that wrecked city where there were the statues of all the different things that were the sea sun. There's still that giant kind of stone structure that looks like it's been seen better days. But around, instead of just the sea walls and everything that you'd seen down there prior, you see little like log cabins and little houses, as if this is a city that's still being lived in. And you hear a voice from the circle of stones that says, "Are you the one who sought my name in these depths?"
Are ye the one who's trying to destroy the world?
I'm only trying to reclaim what was once mine.
And what was that? Exactly.
Everything. I would say I was the oldest, but the only thing older than me is lightness and darkness. I covered all and everything existed below me except for the sky. And then, slowly, the fingers of Terramatria, and it sounds like whoever this is spitting that word out, spread the land that shot up and broke my ocean into bits. But you can never truly break water. Water is always whole, no matter how much you may try to split it.
So tell me this. Why the destruction? Why the dramatics? If you wanted people to remember ye, wiping them all out seems to be a very bad way of doing that.
I'm only taking what is mine back. When I was whole one continuous body. I didn't need praise or love or anything. I existed solely as myself. Maybe not fully conscious, but there. But the deepest insult comes from the belief that you came from the land. No. The earliest of you crawled out of my depths. I gave life to you, not Terramatria. I am the one who brought life into this world, and I will take it back.
Have you considered that everything dies?
Not I.
Even the gods can die. And if this is the way that you want to play this, I have no problem slitting your proverbial throat. I have no problem making sure that you can never do this ever again.
You can try as you might.
And I will.
But once I am born into a real body, once I am made flesh, there will be very little that can stop me. So try your best. Try to beat these curses. I must admit, I'm surprised that you've made it this far. Once the Aasimar was taken from your midst, I thought it would all be a straight shot to the end, but we will see who is alive at the end of this and who is not.
I think you'll find that your children can be quite rebellious. And we don't take kindly to anything you've been doing.
My will is my will, and you must suffer the consequences if you are displeased.
Oh, that's what you think. Well, I'm not displeased. I'm fucking furious. I am Calanthe Thunderhand, daughter of Olympia Thunderhand, the greatest pirate queen you will ever see. And I will not let you succeed. And that's not a threat, that's a promise.
I think
And she's fully like 2-0. She's fully making all of these like bitchy faces. She's like,
I don't think it's fully to nothing. I think that Calanthe is walking towards these stones as she hears these voices coming out of them. And as she gets closer, the shadows of the statues themselves begin to slowly encroach into one another until there's only one standing with his back to her. And he turns around and you see the Triton man who's on the sea sunstones above with a crown on his head. And he says to you, "For one who has been banished from the seas, you act as if you're still close to them."
Calanthe just sort of flicks her hair and it does the thing where it lags like it's in water.
Ooh.
And she says, I think you'll find that everyone on Maralone is more connected to the sea than you think.
And with that, you hear the town bell sounding, which is only ever done when imminent peril is coming. And as you open your eyes and resurface, you see darkness above you, and you know that it's almost time to face the Kraken. this is where we're going to take our break. So thank you guys. Come back for part 2, and we will see our crew take down this Kraken. But for now, beware of what lurks below the shoreline. Obviously. Bye.
Yo ho ho, we'll